Hi, I'm John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Welcome to another edition of our MBA Watch Profile of the Week, sponsored by mbaMission. We are evaluating a candidate who calls herself Ms. Designer turned Founder. She's a 29-year-old graduate of UCLA, a psych and fine arts major with a 3.5 GPA, 720 GMAT. She did her own startup. It's involved in retail footwear. She's a fashion designer, and she has a whole range of schools she wants to go to. She has already been rejected by Harvard Business School, but on her list of other targets is MIT Sloan, her first choice, Stanford, and Berkeley Haas. We have with us Jeremy Shinewald, the founder and CEO of mbaMission, to give her a good look and provide a little advice. Hi, Jeremy.
Nice to see you, John.
So what do you think of Ms. Designer turned Founder?
My question is, I'd love to get a little more data on that GMAT. I want to see if she can prove her analytical chops via her GMAT, because if she can't, then it's possible that she's like me, got a very strong GPA with not a lot of quant evidence, and if you don't do well in the GMAT, then it's very hard for them to really get behind you and say, okay, this person can manage rigorous analytical studies at the MBA level. They start to grow a little more concerned. So let's assume for now that she has that. I think it's very appealing that she has so much experience in a different field. The footwear designer isn't the typical applicant. I think that this individual can really leverage that. And I like the fact that she's not just a footwear designer, but also has been involved in sustainability initiatives and has even attempted to launch her own startup. So she's kind of like saying, hey, I'm not just designing, I'm thinking about the whole supply chain via sustainability initiatives. I've launched my own brand. MIT Sloan is her target school. The GSB and Haas and Harvard is consideration, although she's been rejected at Harvard at this point. NYU Stern has a specific fashion retail, MBA now that she might want to take a look at, that I think could be a very good fit potentially. I also wonder, I would probably challenge her and say, does she need a whole look at the entire supply chain? Maybe something like the master's in manufacturing at Kellogg could be an interesting choice for her.
Yeah.
So I would be happy to chat with her and to challenge her a little bit and to learn more. But I think she's on the right track.
And these schools have the lowest acceptance rates of any schools. I mean, Stanford obviously is only 6%. Berkeley and MIT, because the class sizes are so small and the programs are so popular, have very low acceptance rates. And of course, Harvard, where she was rejected, routinely turns down 90%, 89% of its applicants every year. So there are no safe schools on her list. And I think you're right. NYU Stern's program for people who are into luxury would be ideal for her. And you're right about the manufacturing thing at Kellogg. That would really be right on target for her as well, along with, let's face it, Kellogg's reputation in marketing. Because if you're going to do a startup in retail, marketing is going to be a key part of the pitch.
Yeah.
She wants to get the MBA basically to increase her overall knowledge of business, which she doesn't have as a psych and fine arts major. I guess one thing missing from this that I think might make an admissions committee member a little uneasy is the employment history. So, yep, she's a founder of a company, but really it's still in R&D. And wouldn't an admissions committee want to see an employer that was highly selective so that they have the assurance of knowing she went through a really tough employment screen? In this case, to be a footwear designer at some retail firm, we don't know which one it is. She does say it's global. I don't know how selective that would be. And then to create a startup but still are in R&D and then presumably doesn't have any third-party angel investors or VCs behind it, makes you wonder, well, look, she isn't far enough along for me to be assured that this is the real thing.
I think what you're saying is, she says that she's spent 7+ years as a designer in fashion. I guess there's the same way there's a hierarchy of consulting firms or banks, there's probably a hierarchy of design, of footwear designers. If she told us that she was leading the new Air Jordan at Nike, we'd probably be really impressed and say, wow, that's real responsibility.
So give me the odds that her foot will fit in MIT Sloan's slipper.
I would say, I mean, again, there are a whole bunch of what ifs, but I tend to look at this the glass is half full. So I'm going to give her credit for having some quantitative ability on the GMAT and having had some, elite performance as a footwear designer. And if that's the case, I think that I would feel like that's the right tier for her. I would feel like an MIT Sloan, Wharton, where they've got a very strong marketing and retail program, MBA, the MMM program at Kellogg. I think that's probably the right tier for her. So there are a whole bunch of what ifs, but glass is half full. I think she's probably on the right track with her target programs.
All right then, Jeremy, thank you.
Thanks for not making me name a percentage this time. I appreciate it.
I think the big takeaway that Jeremy mentioned is, look, if you're going to pick 4 MBA programs to apply to, don't make them the most selective programs in the world with the lowest acceptance rates. That's what we have here, particularly if you're a liberal arts graduate and have a respectable GPA, but not one that's, shooting for the moon at 3.5. And while the 720 GMAT score may seem perfectly fine, we don't know what the splits are. And we don't know if she took quant courses back at UCLA when she was majoring in psych and fine arts. These are little things that can make a very big difference. I think Jeremy's advice to apply to the manufacturing program at Kellogg is great. And I think the NYU Stern program in sort of luxury retail would be ideal for this candidate. All right, you've been watching our profile of the week from MBA Watch, sponsored by MBA Mission. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Thanks for watching.